I know we had the birds on the side of Dig, but it's looking like the Red Bull Baron buff is giving them the wings as they get one on a Boom again, and they are just consistently taking the fight here to Dignitas. That was a triple kill for FP5 before he went down, but a quadra in the end, and NRG, they just got a gold lead for the first time in the game.
Rich now on the next minion wave, and Contract is in.
Killer Instinct from FBI in the back line here as well. The Fate Sealed isn't going to be enough. You got Dokla in there too. NRG, they're doing it. That's already 2 there as well for FBI. They're cleaning house now too.
Yeah, they're going to look, but the counter TP is coming through. JoJo's going to TP in as well. Everyone coming up towards this top lane. VicLa is the target. His revenge goes all out, but the equalizer is there. Unforgiven in trouble as overheated Impact is chasing him down. In comes Prince, flashing over the wall. It's going to finish him off. Ayla sure to follow. That's 2 for Prince. There's the Killer Instinct. That's going to be another. That's a 3rd for Prince. A 4th kill goes over to Spica. They wipe the map with him. It's an ace for FlyQuest.
Edge of having something for you.
Almost at a point. Prince maybe going to go down, but has the Killer Instinct. JoJo coming in, and JoJo gets erased as VicLa drops the hammer. Armeo trying to find something, but there's nothing to find except the base, and they're going to be sent packing once again back to the well, 23-3.
There it is. Horn coming across Chime, looking for the big area and entrance. They do get one, though, as they are trying to catch out Boogie. He's completely separated from the rest of the team. And Team Liquid, they're getting pushed off the fight now as they bought so much time. Insanity steps up, and Insanity gets a double kill. He's looking for more, and that's a clean ace for TSM.
They're still down in gold, but TSM, ace, Team Liquid.
Just hit the tower, hit the tower, hit the tower, hit the tower. Hit the tower. Rell, flash, okay? Flash, guys. Okay, Barge is dead, Barge is dead, Barge is dead. Look here, guys, look here. Good one.
Nice. Hit the top.
Honestly,
top.
I'll TP. Rell.
I'll TP, okay?
Yeah.
It looks like they're actually just gonna go ahead and commit to the Baron, but it's gonna get so close. 2,500 HP. All the mortals are into the pit, and Kenvi steals the Baron away from Golden Guardians. Now Golden Guardians have to fight their way out, but Tactical flashes over the Shurima Shuffle. Stixxay is able to answer on back, but now it's up to him to do the damage. He and Licorice have to clean this one up and make sure that Immortals don't walk away with any of the stolen Baron buffs.
Welcome to the LCS Lounge and waiting room, where our producers wanted to troll Mark.
No one counted me down. No one got in my ear and was like, hey, we're on in 10.
It was all planned.
I was working over there for
I know, the intention were like, don't tell me.
Yeah, they were like, don't tell him.
You guys were all in on it. You scumbags.
That's glorious.
True. All right, let's see the standings and schedule for today.
Oh, that was good. I'm glad for that one.
Golden Guardians and C9 now tied for 1st place. EG slipping a little bit. They're on, what, a 3-game loss streak now? TL and TSM tied for that coveted 4th place spot. NRG in a solid 6th, Dignitas 7th, 100 Thieves 8th, FlyQuest 9th, and Morals Progressive.
Who won the first matchup between Team Liquid and TSM? Because TSM won yesterday. Did Team Liquid win the first one? Are they tied in head? Well, someone will get in my ear. Yeah, someone will get into my ear and let me know where they're at the head-to-head because TSM did win yesterday, so it's at least even.
Yeah. And just the point about TSM, they're in a 5-game win streak, so like that's already a pretty big win.
God, what happened to maybe start that win streak?
I don't know.
I wonder if I could pinpoint like some events, like cause and effect.
There has to be something.
Week 4.
When the Renekton started getting
The start of week 4, you think that's
Second round robin. Yeah.
When Haunter
Started second round robin. Maybe like a player came in too. I don't know.
I mean, he was in there in the 1st round robin too, so it's...
Yeah.
I think it's when we moved from the Malphite picks to the Renekton picks, personally.
Okay. It's all on Haunter, baby. Haunter carrying their 5-game win streak.
The GOAT.
Yeah. Also, Raz, you got to cast on day 1, and I did want to ask you about this.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're gonna play it.
It's an ego battle. It's probably the best ego battle. It's a relatable ego battle.
Oh.
Wait.
You're just messing with me? Ego
bagel.
You know who had the best one was... wait. The best one yesterday was Bruce Fort. Did you hear that?
Bruce Fort.
We went to the post-game thread. It was all about like what a Bruce Fort.
Fort.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
Yeah, but this was the game. You're talking about the ego bagel between Tactical and...
It was a great ego bagel. Ego bagel.
Live bathroom footage. Wait, what is it?
Wait a minute.
What kind of company is this?
Where are we putting the bagels?
Yeah.
No, that's disgusting, guys. You do not bring food into the washroom, please.
We got
Yeah.
some with me.
There's a reason that we've
Apparently.
got. No, there's a reason. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think we have someone asking. Okay, here we go. Yeah, NA enthusiast. I like that. Why didn't Jatt wash his hands in that segment? Can we get the inside scoop? So first, we're learning that you apparently don't wash your hands after going to the
are we gonna see
bathroom,
it?
Jatt.
Okay, so let's see.
Do we have the audio for this, or is it just you?
Just him staring at the camera.
No, it's just me
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah. How long? This was the long read, right? Or was it only maybe 30 seconds?
This is a shorter one. It was like maybe 15, 20 seconds. And again, finish.
Eat your heart out, Dr. Disrespect.
Halfway through the split, a narrow went on record with Travis Gabbard once again. Yeah, and then we rolled the video terribly. Yeah. So the reason I don't wash my hands in this clip is because I go back into a stall.
True.
That's true.
Oh.
You pooped twice.
Yes,
So
it's a double.
you just weren't finished
Like
going
Blabber,
to the bathroom.
he's efficient, like Blabber.
Why would
Blabber-
you wash your hands in between bathroom visits?
Blabber only showers
Yeah.
once a day despite the workout.
Yeah.
You only
True.
wash your hands once.
I think the rules are you must wash your hands before exiting the bathroom.
I'm still saying it's kind of concerning that you had to go back on broadcast on camera in between poops. You didn't finish the job. You went out of one stall, talked to the camera while you were in between
That's
poops.
how disturbing the conspiracy was.
Jatt,
Okay,
yeah, I was gonna say, like, leave Jatt alone. Maybe he's having some issues. Who knows?
Yeah, Raz.
Okay, I'm just putting it out there. Oh my God, I'm tilted this morning. I sent
Yeah.
my coffee and my hash brown back home instead of the studio. So I'm not only hungry, I also am decaffeinated.
I was gonna say, you know who? I don't think he's tilted,
I'm angry.
but he does have a right to call every single one of us out for our preseason power rankings. I actually love when players call us out for this kind of stuff. I think it's really funny. I will also say I had TSM highest
did?
at 8th.
Well, I don't know what he's talking about because, like, yeah, we are right. You know, C9's at the top of the table. I had 100 Thief 7th. You know, correct. Yeah. So like, this looks right to me. Energy's climbing the standings. They'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about
He's
FlyQuest?
right. Yeah. Well, FlyQuest, we want to talk about that.
Anything else to talk about?
No.
Okay.
TSM being slept on? Absolutely not.
All right.
Definitely not.
Just making sure.
I am super happy about TSM though. I like this team's really fun. I like watching them.
I've been pushing for someone as a dark horse MVP candidate. Raz kept saying he was too dark to see, and I'm saying, is he getting brighter? Is he stepping more into the light
He
now?
is getting closer and closer into the light. That is true.
Okay.
So I'm starting to like that a lot more. And you're rallying people. I'm getting tweets now, people like, Insanity yet?
Insanity MVP yet,
Insanity
Raz?
MVP?
Well, he's won 4 pogs in a row, right?
Yeah, after every single TSM game now, all I see on Twitter is just people being like, Insanity MVP.
Has anyone ever won 4 pogs in a row?
That's a good stat question.
Probably, but not this split.
Not this
Definitely
split.
not the split. I feel like it has to have happened.
That's a
Yeah.
hard
Before.
stats poll, but I want it.
It is.
You're making his life harder.
Yesterday, we did an Olympic theme day because of all the triathlons.
The
we had.
Olympiad.
So we have the final medal count. This is sorted by points because there is a point system. So we actually went and separated all of them to
Wait,
see.
well, so
it was
yeah,
a very NA day.
Speaking of pogs, look at that. America #1, baby! Woohoo! Yeehaw! Stars and bars, partner.
What region are we in?
We are in America.
Just making sure.
Canada,
Just
you
checking.
can be our hat. You can bring in second place for us. But yeah.
I mean,
NA
for what it's
coming up.
worth, it was an Olympiad day. The USA almost always performs well at the Olympics.
Yeah, it's like us in China usually.
So even though the podium surprised most players because we did not communicate with them before the day.
No.
that
We
did not give them a
gold
heads
medals.
up.
Yeah.
Maybe they knew something in their core DNA.
Once they saw that they won an award, the NA players tried harder.
Yeah.
We just need to
Once
do
they
this
saw the
every
gold
day.
medal.
Let
Yeah.
them know World's group stage. You'll get a medal every win you get in World's group stage.
We'll make a challenge.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
Sounds like some work. What I want to know is we didn't separate out the Quebec. I made specifically to say
We can't do it.
Quebec.
No.
I know Vulcan wants that Quebec flag again.
Are you a
He
Block
always wears
Lacrosse
it on
supporter,
stage.
Rez?
We're
Yeah.
blocking it. We're blocking the block.
Yeah, I think I moved from Canada before I got to vote in an election.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow. I did it right when I was 18.
Wow, I don't know what we're talking about.
We're going to talk about, am I witnessing the birth of an NA mid rivalry? A great time to be a fan from Turtle Empire. I'm pretty sure this was when APA and Insanity played each other because Insanity had highlighted APA not only as someone who he wanted to play against, but someone who he thought deserved the call-up to the LCS based on how hard he had worked. And are we witnessing the birth of a new NA mid rivalry?
Yeah, who can say? But at least they both played well yesterday. I think that was the big thing, is that the Casio versus, I believe he was on the Kai'Sa mid, and both of them were popping off. And early on, APA was doing better. Then Insanity kind of carried that game late.
Yeah, it's nice to see, to the point that you made in that Travis interview, that when Insanity was naming mids of like who he would want to see in the LCS, and he was like, oh, APA. And Travis is literally like, he is literally going to play again. He's just going to play. But that respect being there, them being kind of like uplifted into the LCS, back in the LCS for Insanity, is nice to see. And we're just seeing more and more players come up from that system, and it's a positive. We'll take him.
Yeah, I think actually not just mid laners, but I think it was Raafaa who pointed out, like, speaking of the Pogs from yesterday, I think every single one of those players at some point had come up through the academy system, including Spica and Blabber, both, I believe. So that was kind of cool. Speaking of Dark Horse MVP for Insanity, I heard, Mark, you were going to mess around with some stats.
Well, it's not just Insanity. I think given that we are heading into the last week, next week, this is
4 games left for everyone, so they played 14/18 of the split.
Yep, so I figured it was a good time to dig into the stats tool again here and just look at the kind of MVP candidates. Yeah, hopefully I can punch in a little bit as well.
I have a question for you already.
For everyone to see.
Unless you have something to present to us.
What?
I have a question for you already, unless you have something to immediately present to us.
Okay, well, you already interrupted, so just go.
Don't say it like that.
Is it okay if I ask a question? You just did, so just ask the question.
Man, you can just say no anyways. Jojo Pion, he's been on, like, EG's been on a slide, and he was our early MVP look. I wanted to see if that actually hit specifically his statistics.
That's annoying, I can't.
Yeah, so what are we looking at? These are all the players?
Yeah, so this is all players sorted by KD8 right now, just because I wanted to pick something. I think the main 3 candidates, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the main 3 candidates would be, for a lot of people, Blabber right now, Jojo Pyun, and then the third is a little up in the air, and then it feels like Insanity.
Right,
Kind of
I mean, Golden Guardians is 10-4, so you want to say someone from Golden Guardians, but that's tricky. And what I'm really curious about is, what does Insanity's case look like statistically? Because narratively, it's incredibly strong.
Right.
0-3 without him, and 9-4 with him.
Well, we'll get to Insanity, I guess, in a second. I want to start. I feel like
8-4.
Individual leads are a big thing for a lot of people when they're voting for this stuff. So in terms of like CSD and gold leads, Blabber is just dominating as always as jungle. He also has an insanely high kills and assists at 14. I'm pretty sure he's #1 in the league at that as well, which just means like wherever he goes on the map, shit happens.
Yeah, you know, like, happens.
So he's farming a bunch, but also has the most kills and assists.
Yeah.
This is also super interesting, because I feel like when people think of Blabber as a jungler, they're like, oh, he's great at counter jungling, you know, like he farms really efficiently. And that's true, but he also has been where the action has been enough to be ahead of both Boogie and River, 2 junglers that I feel like we identify as junglers that will even punt a farm advantage just to get their lanes ahead.
Yeah, so obviously Blabber I think is maybe the leading candidate, but I don't think it's for sure him, because also in terms of CSD, you have Summit up there, but I think Summit ends a little bit too late. Jojo's still #3, and in terms of laners, #2.
I was going to touch on Summit because I feel like we're talking about who would be there. It's a messy topic, but every top laner will hit on Summit as the best top laner in the league.
There's one problem with Summit, Raz.
Hit me.
Oh, I got stuck.
I see them. I see them right there.
There's one problem here.
All top laners have a lot of ISO.
Yeah, look at them all.
Yeah, but not all of them you're trying to say are MVP candidates. Not all of them are actually leading the league. What, is Solo your MVP candidate? Is Haunter your MVP candidate?
Sometimes you got to have an ISO death to secure Team Baron.
Yes, sometimes, but you have more than one a game right now. More than one a game.
All right.
As Dokla said, shocking. So I think we can all agree that like Summit has too many downsides to realistically be an MVP candidate, even beyond stats.
I think
just
so.
like looking at that kind of stuff. Jojo, I think, is a legitimate case that you can make just with how insane his early game leads are, how important he is for his team as well. They always win when it's like him carrying the game. He does get a lot of resources, to be fair, in terms of like jungle procs. But then we'll start looking for Insanity, because he doesn't jump to the top of any of these.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty low in ISO deaths, and he also has 3 fewer games than everyone else. But overall, it looks like he's got a negative CSD still, because he wasn't even on the screen when you sorted by CSD.
Here, let me put mids just so we can. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wrong thing.
Let's compare him with mids.
Where are my filters? What the hell?
Where are my filters?
Reports.
Yeah, my filters.
There they are. I'm blind.
I need my glasses.
So in terms for Insanity, yeah, he doesn't jump off the page.
Yeah.
He does pick a lot of pushing lanes too.
So -4. But then does he have his kills plus assists? He's actually right at the top.
Him, Eminez, and JoJo are the most aggressive mid laners.
Which really helps. Boogie's also very aggressive. And then he's quite forward, which I think is a very underrated stat. Like,
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Here's a couple other things. We're looking at current laning stuff. In terms of kills, he's actually got the most kills of any mid laners despite missing 3 games.
True.
His Ashley is pretty
What do his
bonkers.
damage stats look like?
Let me get, I don't think I have DPM on there. I'll get it up.
We can throw that in.
Okay, it doesn't like the
DPM
shorthand.
and damage percentage.
Damage share. I'll put both those on. Yeah, so I think at least the case that you would make around him is that he pushes a lot early. He enables the team with that kind of pushing play style. It's not about winning lane, it's about enabling them. And then late game, he's actually an insane carry. Would be the kind of case that you're making. DPM-wise, I gotta drag these over because formatting problems.
Yeah.
Difficult life. Put him over here.
The pain.
Yeah, his damage stats are
Gonna be
pretty
good.
top half,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's miles above anyone.
He's 3rd.
Yeah.
And damage percentage, he's 2nd highest. Quid being highest is actually hilarious. But that's because
Quid MVP!
No one else on 100 Thieves does
He's
damage.
held back by his jungler, right, Raz? If only you got
Yeah.
some help from the jungler.
Wait,
quick.
is this the saddest stat ever? He has the lowest damage per minute of all mid laners, but the highest damage percentage.
That makes sense when your jungler does 800 damage in a
That
game.
feels bad.
Raz is
Feels
staring
so
down.
bad. Raz is ready to hop up
Stats-based
and tackle
analysis.
you.
Yeah, that is 100%
Stats-based analysis.
Damage share it does matter who else is a carry on your team, and I think it's fair to say, like, for example, some other mid laners might have more aggressive tops. Haunter is like exclusively weak side tank-ish type duty,
Yeah.
whereas like if you're mid laner for C9 or Golden Guardians, Licorice and Fudge are playing carries and doing more. So like your stats, like share ones, you have to be very careful with what you're doing. I will say a lot of people do not use stats well, and this is one of the things they get trapped in.
And Quid does play a lot of Azir.
Yeah.
So you'll get that.
Yeah, poke champions as well. If you pick an Ezreal, you're gonna have the highest DPM in the world. Doesn't matter if you're actually playing well, because you just queue things on cooldown. Playing into tanks boosts your DPM. There's things like that that you have to consider.
How many solo kills does Insanity have?
Insanity is 3rd in this right now. He's only got 2. Not the
I
most.
feel like they were both in the same game. There's that Yone game, I think, where he killed.
Maybe.
yeah,
There's some
yeah.
LeBlanc games as well.
True.
Yeah. I mean, his stats are very good. Like, for me, this definitely puts him up there for, like, all-pro. I'm
Yes.
not sold on an MVP case just based off of C9 being in 1st place and how impressive Blabber's stats are.
Yeah.
And also, like, the on-off of JoJo has been pretty interesting to me as well. I don't know about you guys. Like, when he's not on, they're losing every game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we had this issue with JoJo last split too, right? And coming into this split with how motivated he was and how insane he was playing, like, right off of the bat, I think we were like, oh yeah, you know, thank goodness we don't have the same issue where JoJo's been really spotty. I think he's still been significantly better than he was in spring. And I do think there still is a case for JoJo MVP, especially if, I mean, it really depends on if EG are able to get out of this slide, right?
Yeah, the context for some of the games, specifically the one versus Golden Guardians that was like Gory completely stomping, was the level 1 was horrendous.
Yeah.
The level 1 invade.
But Gory's also, like, super good as well.
Yeah.
Golden Guardians is tied for 1st.
Well, that's the thing I was going to bring up with Golden Guardians. It feels like they should have an MVP candidate, but they're really hard to pick one because they're so well balanced, and they're not all top of their position. It's like hard to win MVP if you're not the best in your role. And like, is Gory better than JoJo? Is River better than Blabber? You know, even though all of them kind of deserve
Huhi
MVP
maybe?
nods. Yeah, Huhi might be the best in his position. Stick is doing pretty well, but not in lane. So like, I just isolate to Golden Guardians players if you want me to poke around at all.
Yeah, I think that's a massive sticking point with Blabber, right? And why I'm really glad you brought up like the kill participation and like the K+A at 14, because I think, again, we have kind of an idea of what a jungler like River is in our heads versus a jungler like Blabber.
Right.
And unfortunately, one of the cases against River, who I think, in my opinion, would be the largest MVP candidate for Golden Guardians, like across the whole split, I think is that there is a jungler in the LCS that is still better than him. And it's the team that they're tied. He's on the team that they're tied with for 1st place.
By the way, I don't even think it's a secured case with how many games are still left if River continues to perform.
Four's a
Cloud9's
lot.
been pretty.
Yeah, a lot can change in
Yeah.
4 games.
I also think maybe Gory. I mean, JoJo's playing well, but if people just keep camping him and he can't get anything done anymore, Gory actually has a pretty insane CSD. He was tied for most kills of mid laners.
Yeah.
He was up there with DPM. He's up there with low jungle proximity. Like, he doesn't require jungle attention to get these leads. You know, like, maybe you start throwing some weight behind Gory of all the Golden Guardians players. He's actually carrying a lot of their games. Like that LeBlanc game you had, that was insane. He's put people in the dumpster.
I know you've been going through a lot of filters, Mark, but do you think Insanity still has an MVP shot based on what we just saw?
Yes. Asterisk is probably not stats based.
Right, which is fine.
Okay.
Like, they're 7-3 with him. They lost 3 games without him. Depending on how far they go in these last 4 games, if they finish top 3
Right.
with Insanity, and he's like 10-5 or something, like, that's really good. And it's a strong case, I think. I don't know.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Anything else you guys want me to look at before I join you back on the couch?
But get over here.
Yeah, we're almost out of time.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're
we
out of time?
are.
Oh, well, whatever then. I was done anyways.
All right, today's schedule. TL versus FlyQuest. That's actually super interesting to me after yesterday.
Yes.
Once again, I have no idea how to rate FlyQuest, considering even when they were struggling, it's not like the talent on this team isn't good. So after you see them have a performance like they did yesterday, it once again calls into question, can they actually make the run?
I think if Prince can get 1 or 2 kills early, they win.
Okay.
Just 1 or 2?
Like last game, he got 2 early.
Yeah.
Stopped him.
I mean, they also had, I think the big thing was that they had lane pressure bot for Prince to just kind of farm, and Vulcan just left him and just kept going mid. And I think like Vulcan roaming with Spica is like kind of the identity I thought this team should probably have anyways.
It felt like that's what they had in Spring Split and then kind of lost it. A lot of it is based off individuals not performing in Summer, to be fair. But they did well in making it so there was no dive that was going to happen on VicLa, and then VicLa later started performing really well. So good games from them. Maybe they keep it going. What do you think, Jatt?
We will see.
Yeah, picking them.
We'll also see what Jatt. Yeah, that was the perfect toss for this or that.
Oh, I gotta move the couch.
Oh! Hello and welcome back to This or That with Kobe and Jatt, presented by Verizon. How long can he go? Oh, not.
That was planned. I did 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
Watch the screens, by the way. I did break one of those.
This is really you did?
Yeah, when we were doing the first action shoot.
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that. Slide number 1 for This or That with Kobe
Let's
Jatt.
go. By the way, we're recording this Thursday, not Friday, but it's going to air Friday. That's why we're in.
Which niche
Sports
pick
Get Up.
should see more play? Quinn or Ziggs?
Ziggs, because we're actually recording this right now where it's getting played currently by Balulu as well.
I mean, I will say the static Shiv Quinn was pretty effective. Yeah, sure.
This is drawing bans.
I mean,
this is more effective. Ziggs.
Yeah,
It's so much wave clear. Being able to blow up the towers, it's so underutilized, and it's a flex pick. You should use it bottom lane. It still gets used bottom lane in LPL sometimes.
I think both of them should actually see more, but yeah, sure, that should see more compared to that one, just because there's more places for it. Quinn's just Renekton. Ziggs can be good into long
Do
control.
tier list ruin fun game modes.
Okay, question.
No!
Is this a fun game mode even?
First of all, it's a fun game mode, but it also does have
I said
matchmaking.
that wrong. It's probably going to be a fun game mode.
I've played it already on PvE because I'm casting the fight night. It's definitely fun. No matter, like, we have to live in the real world, though. People are always going to be competitive, even about a fun game. I'm in the camp of games are most fun when they first come out, and everybody's trying to figure it out, and there is no established formula, and everyone's working off percentages and stats websites.
I mean,
but people are always going to try and min-max. People are competitive.
It's going to have ranked. Also, if you're going to call someone a tryhard, you could also just call them successful or good. Because that's what I'm very polarized on this issue. Whatever answer is that it doesn't ruin the game mode. I don't know how to magic this. Yes, it sucks magic. No, it's a form of fun. Yeah, yes, it's fun, but it's also just like the best way to play. It's definitely that.
Yeah, and
it's not even close for me.
Fun is also subjective because you can experience fun in a different way, and maybe that's sweating and try-harding.
That's very fun. More likely upset today, 100 Thieves over TSM or Energy over Golden Guardians.
I feel like either of these easily can happen. This is hard to figure out which one's more likely to happen.
More likely
I'm leaning towards Energy over Golden Guardians, but it's tough.
So TSM is on this Giga Insanity win streak where he's had like 4 player of the games in a row. I don't think that's necessarily super sustainable. So I'm actually going to say
they just won today.
This is the more likely upset.
Without having gold lead.
Good.
Without having the gold lead the whole game, they just won.
And think of how likely that could be a loss the next time, Kobe.
They didn't even let me answer. You're talking about TSM too long, TSM Jatt. I wanted to go with the other slide. No, I'll do it. Do you believe EG has fallen off? Huh?
I mean, yes, they have fallen off.
This is a good gift.
I guarantee you. But I also think they'll bounce back. What do I do if it's close? Yeah, the picture's really nice. Like, it's fine. They've lost a few games. Their spirits are high. They will bounce back. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. But like, I'm gonna say they're falling off, but they'll bounce back. So it has to be that.
Yeah, you're choosing both slides then, because you're saying yes, they did fall off, and they will bounce back somewhat or fully.
The answer if it's like, nah, they didn't fall off.
Are you gonna say they're gonna bounce back all the way to first place to win it?
No, definitely not. So, and then it will be this. Which GG player has the strongest case for MVP? River, Huhi, or Stixay? I kind of like this one, but it's easy. It's Huhi.
Huhi's got a really good case, especially because all the teammates constantly always talking about what he does in-game for them as well, and how he motivates the entire team. Stixay, to me, especially because I was casting a lot of his Aphelios 2v1s, and where he actually single-handedly won the game by the Elder Dragon fight, also has a pretty good case.
I'm just saying, the last time Golden Guardians was good, they had Huhi, and they're good again with Huhi, and it's Huhi.
Give me that. I want to try that, actually.
It's pretty hard. All right, next slide while Kobe tries this. Most improved from spring to summer. Summit, Pyosik, or Yeon. You suck.
It's hard. That was first try. You have been doing this all day.
I think it's Pyosik. I think Pyosik was one of the worst junglers in the entire league in spring, and he's one of the best and maybe the best early game jungler in summer.
I agree, and I feel like this one is actually a lot more clear than our previous slides.
Okay.
I'm super on the Pyosik.
I think we have one final slide, and it's about Soul Fighter. Remember, July 20th is when it comes out. Go play 2v2v2v2. That's a wrap for this.
That's not a slide. That's just.
It looks like a slide to me. Okay, is there more?
Scammed.
Is there more?
No.
Then it's a slide, Kobe. That's a wrap for this.
You should watch Fight Night because I'm casting it.
In the comments, Kobe, you got to hit this one. Not at me. Out that way.
I really want to hit this hard. We have too many screens over there, though.
Nice hit.
What you didn't see is that then hitting one of our large screens here and our producers crossing their fingers.
Yep.
Predictions for today.
You guys are
the two FlyQuest enjoyers. I feel like, well, this is the other frustrating thing we talked about. This matchup, I think, is closer than it looks. All TSM, except, Mark.
Yeah, so big stuff about some playoff implications. If Team Liquid win, it will lock TL and TSM both actually into playoffs. So right now, TSM are huge Team Liquid fans, but the good news for them is even if Team Liquid lose, TSM has actually already secured at least a tiebreaker for a playoff spot, even if they lose out from here.
There it is.
Yeah.
Now, can you explain to me why you think 100 Thieves are going to be TSM?
I think we're out of time. I think it's supposed to get into games.
All right.
Mark is an
we have 20
enjoyer.
seconds for you to explain.
No, it would take too long. It's too elaborate. Only a giant brain could understand it. We don't have time. Jatt's casting.
Jatt's going to go cast. That's it from us. Bye.
Bienvenidos and welcome to another beautiful day here in Los Angeles. Oh my goodness, it is Team Liquid trying to resuscitate FlyQuest and give them life.
It's interesting. Because why would they try and resuscitate FlyQuest?
Because they're nice guys. They want good competition.
There's a very easy way to do this, and it has a little bit to do with running it down. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what type of gameplay we can expect from Team Liquid, because they do clinch playoffs with a win. Not only do they knock themselves in, they knock FlyQuest down. So we'll have to see.
Does that officially mean if FlyQuest lose today, they're out of playoffs?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're straight on the stakes here. But Team Liquid, as you said, win today means playoffs guaranteed, and we're already into pick and ban phase. Couple bans already thrown toward APA's way. That's Ziggs. No more bomb specialist for him, as the Jace and the Azir taken away from VicLa.
No more Ziggs. TL's been doing these kind of quirky compositions that work around APA's signature picks.
Yeah.
Ziggs, Cassio. They did win the Ziggs game, but they also kind of lost late game to TSM, because what's been happening is they had like a LeBlanc top and a Cassio mid. Most professional mid laners will hate having two like AP carry type champions on the same team, because it's so easy to itemize magic positions. That's just generally how they've been drafting, though, playing towards players' comfort levels and their stronger champion pools.
We're going to see if Team Liquid continue playing around some of APA's specialty picks. I know you mentioned a couple of them. Things that he came up in solo queue making his name on were things like the Aurelion Soul, the Talia, and the Kled. Unfortunately, Aurelion Soul is quite a different champion back then in 2018, 2019 when I first started watching this guy. Now the Kai'Sa, this is a great flex for both either him or Yeon if they put enough practice time. Instant Rumble and Rell answer here.
Yeah, Rumble is what Impact played yesterday, maybe a little bit Unleashed. That's not a champion he's played that much of in the last 5 years at least, but definitely been gaining a lot of steam in LCS, was banned frequently last split. And the Rell, I think, is a denial of the Kai'Sa Rell. That's one trend, Raafaa, I feel like we've seen all week, was this super early Kai'Sa Rell priority, because they are both flex picks. And if you have both, it gives you kind of limitless flexibility in the draft and makes it very difficult for the other team to have any level of counter picks. So I just expect if Kai'Sa Rell is up, every red side team at this point will take it 1-2, so that's why I think we see them split them here.
Yeah, they don't want to give it up for FlyQuest to have both of them in their hands. The early Gnar for Summit should give Impact a little bit more information, but a Yone answer. Now, because this Kai'Sa can still be flexed around, it means that we can still see whether if it will be for Yeon or for AP if he wants something different into Yone. But while we're getting through the second round of bans, Viva la LCS! LCS en Español is the official Spanish language stream of the LCS. This new viewing experience is live on LLA's Twitch and YouTube channels right now. Scan the QR code or go to lolesports.com to learn more. Back into ban phase, LeBlanc taken off the table.
And I do think that we are definitely in a patch at the moment where there are more flex picks than usual, because even this Rumble with the Yone makes me a little bit unknown about where everything is going for FlyQuest. Yes, the Rumble was picked into the Gnar was picked into Rumble, but it could also change. Impact could possibly play Yone. I know that they could jungle or mid Rumble if they really wanted to, so still making it a little bit difficult for Team Liquid to feel comfortable with their picks.
Would be some dark tech. I don't think we've seen Rumble jungle in quite some time. And VicLa to pilot a mid Rumble would also be pretty cool, but you know, FlyQuest still trying to take away APA's comfort picks here in both the LeBlanc and the Cassiopeia, trying to limit the possibilities against this Yone, whereas Team Liquid just still focusing on marksman options since Prince hasn't really picked on one yet.
They are definitely target banning APA more than other teams I feel like have so far. A lot of 80 carry bans as well, which honestly, those two 80 carry bans do open up Kai'Sa bot a lot more, because those are two of the stronger, slightly outranging 80 carries that they could play bottom. So it makes it much less likely, actually, that APA will be playing the Kai'Sa for me.
FlyQuest, will they confirm whether this Rell is still support or jungle? And it looks like they're going to go for the Ashe, and this still keeps things in the cards here for whether Vulcan has a counter pick option or Spica is going to take the Rell for himself. As Team Liquid now, this is where the composition has to be wrapped up. You have some options to dive forward with the Kai'Sa and the Rakan. Gnar can help start things off. It is a little more dependent on that Mega Bar, but Team Liquid, they can choose whether they're kiting back or they want to fully dive in on this comp.
Yeah, Neeko is still there. Hasn't that did I miss something? I thought that was still getting banned a lot.
I think teams have been prioritizing it less now throughout the week. I could be wrong, and maybe this is just, you know, fake news on our end, but it doesn't seem like that teams have been picking up Neeko as much, or maybe it's just been hitting the bans a lot. But this is for sure for APA. And now a jungle option still needs to be blocked in for Pyosik. And oh boy,
my.
The Lee Sin.
I mean, Closure tried it yesterday. Now it's time for Pyosik to do the same thing. Why not? Maybe it's also good into jungle Rell, because one thing is the Ashe Rell might not be a good bottom lane, so we might actually be seeing Vulcan's support pick right now. See how much he's talking. The Rell could be telegraphed to the jungle based on the pairing. Also, Vulcan loves support counter pick.
Yep.
So, Alistar, he thinks he can pull it off against the Kai'Sa Rakan because it was clear what they were laning against in the bottom lane. Now, best case for FlyQuest is they can get early push and maybe a kill onto Prince early, and then Vulcan can just leave.
Yep.
Because that's when they are going to be at their most comfortable. We were talking about this in the LCS Lineup before the day. Mark's point was that was what the original vision of this team felt like. Vulcan and Spica running around the map making plays, and they have a team composition that can once again do that.
It's what worked yesterday against Evil Geniuses. They made that first game plan from Spica ganking the bottom side of the map. Unforgiven and Aelor were shut down pretty much from the get-go. And then once Prince is fine and you don't have to parent him as around anymore, then Vulcan's free to roam the map. And that is where, career-wise, he is at his best, making plays around the entire map.
And for Team Liquid, I do think this composition is going to be playing around APA in the mid lane. Even though they don't speak the same language, Pyosik and APA may share a few brain cells about what is a good play. So I do expect a lot of duo mid with the Lee Sin and the Neeko.
Not sure how the matchup of Neeko into Yone works out in terms of who's going to get pushed more, but if APA manages to have Pyosik hovering him and gets that push safe early, then you can make some crazy things happen with the invades. Because about Lee Sin, we talked a little about it with Azale yesterday when Closure was playing it. Lee Sin is not a champion that necessarily falls off late game, but it falls off if the pilot of the champion cannot perform it at maximum mastery. Yeah. So really the onus is on Pyosik to just be at a 10 the entire game.
Completely agree. And Team Liquid, I will say, no matter what happens, their games are always entertaining.
Yes.
They are a very explosive, aggressive team. Their last two games, as Core he's going to try and do something fancy here with this jump over the wall. Their last two games have been very long. They've had large leads. They've lost those large leads, and they're 1-1. Get out of there, buddy.
Just using the clone as he's faking being Kai'Sa, but with the clone happening, they've got to know that it is APA under the disguise of Yeon. But CoreJJ and Yeon have snuck into the blue jungle. Does Team Liquid have an angle here?
No. They don't have enough people, but they at least have vision. They got some deep vision. That allowed them to see where FlyQuest was in regards to their own blue buff, which then allows APA to go up and ward Raptors. So they at least have some early eyes on Spica, which will allow Pyosik to plot a better early game strategy. What might happen here is, since they see Spica here, Pyosik could just go there. But also notice that the river is already it was double warded by FlyQuest here, so they would also see the Lee Sin cross. So I think it's pretty unlikely that we see a real fight, but it is more likely that we see some type of invading shenanigans. Based on the double wards, I don't know if TL saw them in their jungle there, but
yeah,
he's just decided to do a normal clear. There's definitely some mind games going on here, though.
Trying to limit Spica's options of where he can go, because as a Rell, once you're level 3, having access to pretty much your full kit outside of Magna Storm means you can do some devastating things. You don't have to go for a full clear, although they've done a pretty nice job of optimizing with the ridiculous base numbers that they've added on top of her kit. But yeah, being super aggressive as Rell, and if you can get things snowballing, you are a very low economy tank. You don't need that much income. You get your first item, and then after that, you just want to make plays.
That's a fake out. That's a very unhelpful hawk shot. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So it walked all the way across here, showed that he killed these two camps. Spica might think that he somehow snuck through wards, but now he's going mid.
And APA ducks out with the clone. Full Spica. Might miss out on 1 minion or so, but APA, no real damage done. Summoner still maintained in the mid lane.
Yeah, actually, because of the wards that FlyQuest had in the bottom river by process of elimination, Spica would still realize that he just skipped wolves and went to blue buff, so actually no shenanigans. I thought maybe Spica would get faked out and think that there was an evade happening, but that is not to be.
Uh-oh. Looks like VicLa might be calling for a pause. Not sure what happened. We'll be getting information as soon as possible. But I want to talk a little bit about, you know, what FlyQuest did yesterday, as we kind of already elaborated that Spica was the core, being able to link up with Vulcan. Already you're trying to see that Spica is trying to make those same things happen. Now, this is a composition against Team Liquid where they're a little bit more onus on them to kind of snowball things with the Lee Sin. So do you really think that FlyQuest have to make things happen early, or can they just as long as Pyosik isn't doing anything early, they can just kind of chill and coast?
I don't think FlyQuest has to make things happen early, but they definitely can't just expect to outscale. It's been such a weird and painful split for FlyQuest overall. But if I think about the way they won when they were at their best, it was a lot of Prince getting something good to happen early. He wasn't necessarily actually winning any of these lanes with him and Winsome. He was mainly just farming.
Yeah.
But Spica would maybe make something happen early that would give Prince a slight lead, and then he's just the master of cleaning up team fights. So it's a tricky question to answer because they're never that good at being explosive early. But if they can't get any good situations for Prince, they have a really hard time winning. I imagine, they haven't told us what happened with the pause here, but I'm going to totally guess here.
Yeah.
That there was some type of visual bug. They were unpausing to see if it resolved, and it wasn't, which is why they immediately repaused.
You are correct, Jatt. I guess producers were only in my ear, but just feeding that VicLa claimed there's a visual bug. So they tried to resume it, and it looks like it is still apparent, so I'm going to be in podcast mode.
Yeah, well, I can tell you what they're talking about in chat. Yeon asks if they were lagging. They said no. And then Spica said, maybe your hands were slow. And then Vulcan said, maybe it's the nerves playing against Prince. But still unknown for me.
I love that, though, from FlyQuest.
Who was the visual bug?
I thought it was VicLa.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Neeko stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was laning against Neeko. Why is this Elise Sin? No, that's not it. They're unpausing again.
Hey, guys, there's two minions acting funky. Is there two Neekos in this game? As Pyosik is suddenly topside of the map, and Impact might be in a world of trouble here. Waits for the flash, flashing the Q, the Sonic Wave, and that means the gank does not go well for Team Liquid, but at least the Summoner spell is burned.
Yeah, and I do think that when you have Summit Gnar on your team, you do want to let him get a little bit ahead because he's going to be trying to split push the whole game. But I also do think that the bottom side of the map is going very well for FlyQuest right now. The Spica tries once again.
APA in the middle. Spica trying to jump down onto APA as well, and Pyosik is able to dodge out with the ward hop. That could have been deadly.
Man, that was... I got faked out by APA's Neeko there.
Yeah.
That was a good escape. He just had to burn flash when there was a 3-man gank. But if this situation continues bottom lane, there's going to be a lot more looks for FlyQuest. So the Ashe pick, weirdly enough, was first prioritized in NA by TL. They lost a few games with it because they're really bad at closing games. But it's really, really good early games. So Prince able to get early prio. Alistar's not necessarily a strong laner, but Ashe is. So they're winning lane because of the Ashe pick, which then allows Vulcan to roam. So the Alistar Rell, if they can keep getting turns like that, I think will be very, very good for their chances in this game.
And definitely seems like a development of FlyQuest understanding the strengths of their individual players on this roster. While yes, it would be nice to completely to play towards Prince and just snowball and feed him a bunch of kills, if he is fine just laning on his own and then you get to unlock Vulcan across the map, then... And it's definitely a double win for FlyQuest here, as you already called it out. Prince is handling himself just fine. Natural CS lead against Yeon and CoreJJ. Whereas Vulcan, if he keeps influencing the map, then the top side of Team Liquid is going to be under immense pressure.
Yeah, I do think that was a very good recall interrupt by CoreJJ there. You can see Yeon has already gone back to base once. Prince was trying to get his first recall in, but delaying that will definitely mess up their timings. And the longer the TL can hold that bot lane matchup with the item advantage, the more they're going to be able to catch up in lane.
Yeah. So now here's my question here. For FlyQuest, because they have so much pressure to be able to push in bottom side of the map, do they want to continue using this to look for plays picking off mid lane or top lane, or do they want to use the priority to start snowballing dragons here?
I think ideally they just keep the CS advantage and then go for dragons. And because it's Team Liquid, you'll probably get a fight that way. Like, Team Liquid is not a team that you generally have to manufacture action against. So I think if they can just keep putting themselves in winning situations, the play would be to have TL come to them.
And then if you set up, you have so much CC to be able to answer back on in. Team Liquid try to go forward, and then you have Magastorm, you have Alistar full combo to just be able to lock people down. Sounds good to me. Team Liquid, hello. Summon is going to throw Impact into the wall, but they know that Impact doesn't have Flash before. This time, Pyosik can land the Sonic Wave. He's going to go in, but Spica's waiting in the wings. Great counter gank in time by Spica. First blood goes to Impact, but Summit trades one back with the Boomerang Blade, and now he's just going to force Spica to back off.
It's a Team Liquid game, baby! Summit just decides to burn everything. They blindly move into Fog of War against a Rumble and get the 1-for-1.
Have more action potentially mid lane. Oh, CoreJJ and Yeon here, and that forces Vulcan to flash.
Yeah, Vulcan again moving mid. This time TL matches with 2, but it does give Prince more free time in the bottom lane. I generally do think for FlyQuest game plan, as long as they can keep Prince ahead of the other AD carry, it's generally good for them. So I think they're quite happy with this game state.
FlyQuest, as long as they continue maintaining it, they're going to be in a good spot, as you already alluded to, as we take a look back at the top side.
Let's watch this one more time. Pyosik trying to go for a fast play through lane. Definitely has some second thoughts while he's sitting on the equalizer about whether or not he should take it. Even burns his flash at the end. Thank goodness for them, Summit lands that long-range boomerang. Otherwise, it would have been a disaster. Overall, even though the first blood did go over to Rumble, I think Summit will get a little bit more out of that because he gets extra experience for staying alive and getting the extra minions. So yeah, you notice he actually has a 1-level advantage on Impact now and can potentially keep up some pressure.
Because you definitely want Summit ahead of this matchup so that he can always keep Rumble away on the other side of the map, because a lot of Rumble's great power is going to come through those equalizers in those objective fights. But if Rumble's not there, then that's a big team fight ulti cooldown gone for FlyQuest, and that makes things a little dicier for the team fighting.
Yeah, and also one thing that I heard Kobe mention yesterday was that Team Liquid has led the league in first Herald percentage. So already you can see a lot of priority towards this first Herald. I think both teams potentially want to fight right now. So there's a lot of action on the top side. 9 of the 10 players are up here.
I think Rumble's flash is just about to come up again. Impact, but he's getting stunned up against the wall, and Pyosik is there as well with the Dragon's Rage, and it guarantees no way he gets out of this one alive. No, he dodges it! Impact's out, and he lays down the red carpet, and it's true from Prince downtown! It is disaster for Team Liquid, and FlyQuest bounce back with life!
TL tried to go back to the Impact basket, and it comes up completely empty for them. 2 kills and the Herald for Fly, but also Team Liquid is trying to pick up plates on the other side. This is by no means a free play.
Yeah, the caveat for Team Liquid, consolation prize, some plates over to Yeon, but big Herald move for FlyQuest, being able to answer back on a counter gank, and that is just going to continue snowballing their lead further and further.
Yeah, a really big investment there, actually. I don't think Prince even would have wanted to go up there. Yes, he landed the arrow and was the catalyst for that big plate to happen, but he gave up 2 plates to the enemy AD carry. So now Yeon, who was previously behind, when I checked, about 200 to 300 gold from Prince, is now up 400 gold to Prince. Prince lost a lot for that move. You can also see reset again. Rumble has now taken over bottom lane, so Prince hasn't really got gold for the last minute and a half. So yes, it looked like a good play for FlyQuest, but unless they get a big Herald, this isn't going to mean that much. Watching the play one more time, it was a nice outplay from Impact. It looks like TL just didn't have the damage. They even waited a little bit for the Resonating Strike to get more execute damage on the Lee Sin Q, and Impact just got his flash up before they can land the arrow and calm them down.
And Impact's flash was literally just off cooldown until the very last part of that combo from Team Liquid. It's tragic for them, but for FlyQuest, this is so needed. I mean, we have already talked about you know, how dire straits in FlyQuest are for their summer season. Any wins that they can pick up is another step forward to saving their playoffs potential. As Summit is now getting dove by 3 from FlyQuest. All the CC in the world is going to put an end to Summit as APA teleports in as a minion, but the rest of FlyQuest have already bounced back.
And this is how Spica and Vulcan want to play. They want to combo up, be with 1 damage dealer, and just dive the crap out of people. But again, like they are nice plays. They are killing Summit, but they are giving up stuff on the other side. I'd say Mountain Drake is one of the best Drakes in the game to take early just for the resist that it's going to grant throughout the entirety of the game. Gold's still pretty close, but the encouraging thing is that FlyQuest is making plays and having action happen, and VicLa has a lot of gold.
I mean, the nicest thing is it's already not a stomp. I mean, FlyQuest and Team Liquid are clearly making good moves on opposite ends of the map. If one goes bad for one team, they already have something planned on the other side of the map to bounce back for it. So everyone in the LCS stands, I hope you're ready for a banger because we're opening one on our last day of week 5. So you're not leaving anytime soon. We got to watch every single minute of this one.
Every Team Liquid game is a banger. That's one thing we can guarantee. This one's already set up. Like, Summit's getting dove again. This is standard.
Okay, but he flashes the Fate Sealed. Will be enough damage from VicLa. He goes into tower, and Spica's taking it up, so he's got his boy tracked up, and CoreJJ charms him, but there's no damage follow-up quite yet. Pyosik is walking in. Can he land the Resonating Strike? It forces the flash out of VicLa, and he just walks away clean.
Already the lead leaguer and ISO deaths. Adding to that lead, it is an insurmountable gap at this point. I believe that's his 2nd isolated death of the game, and we're only 12 minutes in. But anyway, actually, VicLa. Okay, the standard Team Liquid game actually is they get a fairly large gold lead and then the game is close. So when they are at a 1,000 gold deficit, that would speak very highly to FlyQuest. The only thing I would say that is a little bit different from the spring success of FlyQuest versus how I feel like they've won their only 4 games in summer is Prince is actually really not that fed. It is VicLa, which is kind of fascinating actually. With all of the conversation around VicLa this week, the announcement video from FlyQuest that is very ambiguously worded about Spyrax coming in for the NRG game, where everyone feels like that means it's the whole week. Then the announcement yesterday that said, actually it was planned the whole time for VicLa to play in games 2 and 3. What we know is he's playing very well at the moment, which is great to see.
You know, whatever it was, the Summit.
Headshot.
He's got Team Liquid reinforcements coming, but will they come fast enough? He's slammed them against the wall. Buy some time. VicLa might be in trouble now. No flash from the bottom side of the fight, and APA is there to punish with his flash pop blossom.
I'm sorry, VicLa. I caster cursed you really hard right there.
And Nero now is able to send his regards to VicLa for all the times you've cursed Golden Guardians, Jatt.
That's a really big play for Team Liquid because of the large bounty that VicLa had and the fact that APA is now, despite only having 1 kill, 800 gold ahead of VicLa. He's been really a plate collector so far this game. This is going to be probably like his 6th individual plate that he's gotten. So another 175 gold in the bank there. And the gold's back to dead even.
Back to the comfort zone here, Jatt. So we get a look at the expanded gold lead you already talked about. 1K gold lead for APA on the Neeko. I mean, catching up with that huge shutdown puts them ahead of the Yone now. I mean, we've seen Yone's in the late game get out of control crazy, but as we mentioned during the draft phase, it's been a surprise to not see Neeko prioritize as much anymore. Yeah. Almost like people just forgot about her, and then we're gonna see if APA can make people remember why this champion was so terrifying to play against in the beginning.
Look at all that plate money that he's been able to acquire. Again, yes, he's got pretty good CS, almost 10 per minute, but not extraordinary, and only the 1 kill, which was a 600 gold kill with the bounty. And this is my favorite. The minion is my favorite for sure. VicLa knows it though.
Yeah.
Like, that minion was not attached to a wave. But specifically, I actually do want to see if APA in the later game just is a minion all the time, because even if you're running through the jungle, it's really difficult as a player when there's no champion icon on the minimap to even notice that a minion is just randomly running through the jungle. Nice escape.
Yeah, good timing from the Fate Sealed, escapes the Pop Blossom. Rift Herald, numero dos, is up on the field. FlyQuest want to contest for it. They've already lost 1 ulti, but credit to them, APA burned his as well, so they might feel confident about at least contesting Team Liquid when they started up.
Yeah, Team Liquid definitely looking for some trouble. They have managed to get a lot of prio top lane, but they need to connect in the right spot. Oh, they found him.
Oh, nice kick from Pyosik. VicLa's gone. That's the numbers advantage that Team Liquid will need to start up the Rift Herald, and no contest from FlyQuest as they resume themselves back towards the bottom side of the map.
Same brain, Pyosik and APA, knowing what needs to get done. That's going to be a huge influx of gold for Team Liquid. Massive gold from the second Herald, as well as first turret going solo over to APA. So he will be by far the most fed member on this game. And I do want to track VicLa's performance in the rest of this game because he's still a very young player. And there's a decent chance he could be tilted after that big start and now 2 kind of deaths where he gets picked off.
Meanwhile, we return to the isolated Summit show. We'll see if FlyQuest can make it his 3rd of the game. And unfortunately for Summit, he's got nowhere else to run. But on the mean side, Team Liquid are trying to get as much done in the mid lane. They summoned the Rift Herald, they got the crash in the mid turret, tier 1, and now it's going to make the crash into tier 2. Maybe they can just take it out all right together.
They actually just got so much gold. That's wild. That's the one time I'll say Summit, don't worry about it. The weird thing about playing with Summit, though, is that this is your only option.
Yeah.
Like, your only option is to just let him die, because he's going to die no matter what. So make sure you're actually elsewhere and creating pressure, then you can make it a positive play.
Team Liquid thanks Summit for his services, his death for the cause.
Back at it again. He's just going to keep pushing.
You can't stop this guy. And now he might just walk on over and interrupt Spica since he has vision of the Dragon Pit. It's only Spica on the Dragon as well, so the objective is going to get at least reset here. And Team Liquid now have time to get in position to see if they can contest. Spica's waiting in this bush. APA sends in, and
numbers.
now CoreJJ in the mid lane. Nice pick on the Impact, but Vulcan punts him away.
Oh,
and now Prince
boy.
is in the field, but Summon is able to flank Impact, and he's got nowhere to run. The movement speed from Team Liquid as well. Run down Vulcan, and Pyosik is on the chase as well. VicLa is back, but he's forced to flash away. Pyosik is looking for Prince, but Prince is kiting him back, and he gets the Warhawk into the kick. Prince is gone, and Team Liquid spiral on forward.
Pyosik, this game is all about the mental advantage, man. Like, he has 3 deaths, but he picked off VicLa twice when it was most necessary. He realized Prince hasn't died yet. Let's just 1-for-1 under the turret. Like, let's burn everything just to put Prince into a gray screen. They could have just taken the dragon at the end of that, but he's trying to tilt him. So, this play right here, I do love the look by Team Liquid. VicLa is in Narnia at the start of this play, so Team Liquid know that they're going to have a numbers advantage. Just now, VicLa arrives, but the fight is basically already over. VicLa is able to pick up a kill, but then just has to completely bail from where he left his E, and Team Liquid has absolutely turned it on after a lackluster start to this game.
And with that, Team Liquid have a sizable gold lead now at this point, 4,000. 18 minutes, oh, whoa, but VicLa, my goodness, what is this game, Jatt?
Every Team Liquid game is banging.
Dios mío, there's so much happening. FlyQuest are not going down without a fight, and I love that. Because, for the most part, there have been times, especially that Spica has talked about this, where if FlyQuest don't get things going their way in the early game, they just kind of give up, and they're just like, all right, guys, I don't know what we can do here. But this past week, especially with last game, they have been fighting with every single breath that they've got.
Yeah, and they need to. They don't even, FlyQuest doesn't even control their own destiny. Even if they win all of their games, if cards do not fall the right way, they still wouldn't be able to make it into playoffs, but they need to find a way to pull this one out. The weird thing about that last play is it was a nice solo kill by VicLa, but it also was like a 3-person game when you look at the minimap, because Vulcan and Spica were about 2 seconds away from that play, and it allowed Team Liquid to cross-map that second Drake of the game. So even though, and I'm not trying to defend Summit, even though he's died 6 times, Team Liquid is still getting something for almost all of his deaths, for now.
I appreciate the defense. You would make a good lawyer for Summit in this case.
Not a defense. Dying a little too much. But I'd say they're when life gives you Summit, make plays on the other side of the map.
Nice, nice. Well, Impact is going to make use of the fact that Summit is not here to defend the turret. And we'll look for tier 1 on the bottom side of the map, but Summit being on the top side of the map and has the help of his friends this time around can take tier 2 and the top side. So still overall tower advantage for Team Liquid as they look to push their vision line further and further into deep parts of the jungle.
Yeah, FlyQuest looking a little broken right here. If Team Liquid's actually able to take this Baron, it's going to completely slingshot them ahead in this game. FlyQuest has just been so slow since they've been getting picked. Arrow misses, but they know something's up.
They know it's at least 5,000 HP. Can Spica get in there, but CoreJJ is buying all the time. Baron has been secured. VicLa's into the pit, but he's forced to go back with the soul unbound. And Team Liquid, they don't have to force a fight here, but APA says go! And it's the 4-man pop blossom from APA! Can Team Liquid clean up the rest of the fight? Yes, they can. They've got the damage. Spica and VicLa are now left to the wolves of Team Liquid. Team Liquid didn't have to take that fight, but APA says, look at me! My name is Ian Sturzy. You'll remember my name as he makes his mark in the LCS.
What a massive play by Team Liquid there, Raafaa. They saw that they could take Baron. Like always, they just commit. They commit to something. They get the Baron first. They could have backed away, but they then use the Proto Belt to go in. FlyQuest knows it's up, and this is one of those things that can very easily become a split call. Some people are fighting, other people are bursting the Baron, but they get it. They avoid the original initiation, and then, you know, APA's just hanging around. He realizes nobody sees him. The sweeper was so key right there. He saw that they didn't have vision on him, which allowed him to land the engage of the game and likely give Team Liquid an insurmountable lead.
If it ain't done and dusted at this point, I don't know when it will be for Team Liquid. It is now a 7,000 gold lead on their side. They have Baron pushing up the bottom side of the map as well. VicLa and Prince are stuck on the top side trying to get resources before what could be their last defense of the base. The inhibitor tower collapses under Team Liquid's will, and they're looking for the inhibitor as well. And they're just going to shift on over thanks to Summit pushing in the mid lane, going for double inhibitors. Not sure if they will look for the push to end it all, but they surely can.
What an explosive game from Team Liquid. From about the 15-minute mark to now, they've grown their goal lead by about 9,000. Anything can happen in any Team Liquid game, Raafaa. That's why I'm not varying too far in tangent land, because you never know when they're going to try something.
But CoreJJ says go, flash over the wall, APA combos with the Pop Blossom, Trailblazer from the Equalizer from Rumble on top of them. When FlyQuest turns this fight around, they blew up 3 members from Team Liquid. You said it, Jatt, anything can happen in Team Liquid game, and FlyQuest are still in it.
I hate them so much. Like, why did they go for that fight? Just, God, they can get the gold, they can win the game, but they're keeping it entertaining. I think FlyQuest could even be back in this one, so nobody died on their end now. The death timers are decently long, and it might give them time to set up. Probably not. There's still 7,000 gold lead, but that always happens every time.
You sound like a disappointed dad right now. I feel you, Jatt. Let's take a look at this again.
So, I mean, they do land the engage, but it's onto an Alistar. They miss all of the carries. VicLa lands a massive ult on top of the Equalizer, which just shreds the carries on Team Liquid. It is actually a very well done counter engage by FlyQuest. But you know what? Team Liquid, they always shoot their shot, no matter what.
You never know if you don't try, right? And you know, props to Team Liquid, I guess, testing their limits and just going for things and not being afraid, because I will say in spring, when they had massive early games but were unsure of how to close out mid and late game, and they just they didn't commit at all. They weren't on the same page in fights. This time, they are on the same page.
Yes.
It just happened to be a bad one, but it's okay.
Everyone was there.
At least you all learned together that it was a bad play.
Yeah, it's Goldie only 6,000 now, so still a very high percentage chance of winning this game, but definitely not as lopsided as it was before that disaster fight in the mid lane. Baron buff now gone, and they're likely trying to walk in this last minion wave while super minions crash. If they can break a third inhibitor, it'll definitely buy them time for free Baron. So good chance we see Team Liquid going for a fight here.
TL positioned in through the mid lane while Summit gets the minions through the top side of the map. They still have super minions pouring in through the bottom side, so there's pressure that FlyQuest have to attend to. They cannot stay all 5 members on the top side for long. As soon as this next wave of supers will be coming through, APA trying to usher it in a little bit quicker as they no longer have the Baron buff. FlyQuest are doing a decent job of holding out.
Yeah, APA now hoping for flank position. I really like this approach from the Neeko, because if he can push deep and then just threaten a Neeko ult in here, it allows Summit to get free time on this turret. So I think that's what they're going to be trying to do now. Just get these 2 waves as deep as possible while Summit crashes, and kind of move over and block FlyQuest out from pushing in.
Yeah. Try to collapse under impact as well, separated from the rest of the pack. VicLa goes on to APA with the Fate Seal. Pop Blossom answers right on back. Prince lands the arrow true on to APA, and he might just be sunning up enough. FlyQuest gets the smite down and kills APA. And now the Magna Storm in the follow-up. Can FlyQuest get more done? Summit is forced to join the pack of Team Liquid so they can salvage the fight. Pyosik answers back onto VicLa, and Yeon with the flash forward takes out the most members of FlyQuest, but there's still impact. Summit flashing away, but it's still enough damage. Impact burning alive with the stopwatch, but he's burning down CoreJJ, but Yeon has the damage. And now it's just Prince. 1 versus 2. He's waiting for Vulcan to come back from the fountain, but FlyQuest hold the base for now.
Huge success for FlyQuest, getting a 3 for 3, because this entire time they're getting super minions here and super minions there that are just giving more gold to Prince. At one point, he was 1.5 items to the 3 full items of Yeon. He's starting to catch up right here. So we knew the plan for Team Liquid would be to push in and shift over, but APA gets disconnected. VicLa, I think, finds a very good engage that is comboed by the Ashe arrow, and they're just barely able to finish him off with the Spica Rell smite. Then, because they were originally planning to push from the top side, Summit's slowly making his way over, and the fight is just a little bit too late. He's half out by the time he comes in, so overall, really nice play by FlyQuest. Baron is back up, and you know Team Liquid wants it.
They're trying to catch out Spica, but too tanky on the Rell. He's able to make his escape for now. Might be forced to use the Blast Cone. CoreJJ will use it instead. Team Liquid take up post in the top side red jungle, clearing out vision so they can set up for the Baron take. But FlyQuest are a little stronger than last time around. They might take their chances of engaging into this Baron pit.
They really want to get there. I don't know if they can get through, because the threat of a Neeko flank is very high. They're going to try, though.
Yeon and Pyosik are burning it down as fast as they can. APA marks off VicLa, and they get the Baron down. APA can just walk away. VicLa is very low, so he's out of this fight. And the rest of FlyQuest now have to retreat. Vulcan is left to the wolves, and Team Liquid get 1 pick off, and the Baron on their side.
Yeah, the Baron DPS from the Kai'Sa is just so high. They can just 2-man it and kill it much faster than FlyQuest would have expected. I think they're going to be going for the end right now, actually. They're at least going to cycle these inhibitors, because there's still 1.5 minutes until the next Drake. If they find it engaged, I expect them to try and end.
If they want to push it, now would be a time. You have 18 seconds before Vulcan comes up. But Spica says they're going to fight on their own terms, and they find Yeon, they pop him! That means AP is the only damage left standing, and he's on the right side of the field here. CoreJJ is forced out, Pyosik is forced out, Summit can't go mega! The inhibitor falls, but FlyQuest still managed to defend the base!
Yep. Okay. Okay. 55 seconds for the next Drake. Summit and Yeon are still down. I think FlyQuest is going to be able to deny the soul there as well. Technically, Team Liquid did cycle both inhibitors, but, I mean...
No way.
A really good engage by FlyQuest. I would say... Is Yeon just, like, going for an assassination? Just, like, trying to make the big play?
Hey, APA is waiting. He has pop
that's APA.
available.
That's APA. He fooled me. I mean, he could one-shot someone. He could. Pyosik is with him.
How long is he
Why not?
wait for this?
Oh, why not try?
That would be sick.
I mean, may as well.
They're going to push up their vision line now. No longer the blue buff. I don't know if Spica's the target you want. He distanced himself away. They got a huge chunk. Dragon spawns in 13 seconds. Spica's down to half HP. That's one of the core front lines that has to poke first and has to face check in this river as CoreJJ is cleaning out vision. Now Vulcan is on duty for being the first one into the river here. Impact is coming
APA
around.
has a flank. They can kill Impact.
They want to look for Impact. Make sure that he doesn't get his equalizer. Nice kick! Oh my god, that was beautiful! The kick into the Pop Blossom. Geometry classes, 10 points for Pyosik and APA, and now FlyQuest, they are pincered here. There's no Pop Blossom available, but APA and Pyosik are forcing VicLa's hand, and with the soul unbound, he will be forced to return back into Summit's waiting arms as he throws him into the wall. Team Liquid have the numbers advantage. They take out Spica. It's only Prince left. Surely this should be the end of the game. Prince, I don't know if he could do it. It's just 1 man against 4. It would be a miracle, but Summit is going to deny him the ability to go walk into the fountain and look for the respawn, the regen of the HP. He's kiting back as much as he can. He's doing a ton of damage, but can he put out against 4? I don't think so. Team Liquid is going to lock this one away, knocking out Prince and claiming their playoff spot.
Never a doubt for Team Liquid after that explosive mid-game. they're just going to keep shooting. And at the very end, APA and Pyosik find the flank in the jungle to take out Impact and shut down the FlyQuest comeback attempt. Another tough loss for FlyQuest that moves them to 4-11. It also officially clinches Team Liquid into the postseason, so congratulations to them. And I gotta say it, they are very exciting to watch. They are the most entertaining team in the LCS.
What a complete bounce back from Spring Split to Summer Split. A couple roster changes have happened along the way, but man, oh man. If you, as a Team Liquid fan, are not excited about playoffs, I don't know what else is going to get you excited. Oh, it is such a good time, and I have to say...
Yeah, imagine 5 games of that. Oh. Don't you love losing your hair and getting sick to your stomach from the stress?
That's what makes
awesome.
That's what makes the best League of Legends games of all time, because then the passion invested into it, the ultimate dopamine payoff.
True.
And I just want to say, before we start tossing it over to the interview, APA is a guy that has been just grinding his blood off. I've known him since 2019. This guy started out as an Aurelion Soul Kled Talia 3-trick. People told him that he needed to expand his champion pool, that they needed to work on his hands and his mechanics, that he wasn't going to make it, that he should role swap the support. Look where he is now.
Yeah.
He is smurfing it on the LCS stage 4 years later. Tell me that NA talent cannot thrive.
APA is absolutely thriving. That moves him still only 1 loss. 4-1 as a starter on this Team Liquid team, was first place in NACL before being promoted. So I believe they're going to keep riding the hot hand as long as APA keeps performing.
Absolutely just stoked for these guys. Well, let's head back over to the LCS Lounge to break that match down.
Yeah, welcome back to our Grubhub, delivering the win on this one. A huge win for Team Liquid. How'd you feel about that one?
The thing I love, actually, is that they showed it on the backside of it, right? Where APA and Pyosik, I swear to God, they share a brain in terms of how they see the game.
Yes.
What is language miscommunication when you can speak to each other through your hands?
Just the brain
in
cells,
League of
the
Legends.
electrons, the neurons are just clicking. They're clicking. So let's go into the Grubhub delivering the win. The moment in the game that really kicked it off for Team Liquid, Emily.
Yeah, and I mean, they talked about this, how APA realizes that they don't have vision on him, and he just lands this absolutely massive Pop Blossom. And this was kind of the turning point for TL, in my opinion, where the game shifted dramatically in their favor. We saw APA have a few misfires a little bit prior to this. So landing that is so huge for him. And another thing that, I have really appreciated seeing from him on stage, which ties into why he gets along so well with Pyosik, is he is always looking for angles, right?
Yes.
Regardless of what he's playing, he is always looking for opportunities to go in, affect team fights. And that's such a great attitude to have. If you mess up,
that makes sense.
go again.
Because a lot of people will critique, fairly so, because we're moving into playoffs, the fact that there's not a lot of, it's not clean coming in from Team Liquid, but they shoot their shot. If they see an angle, they'll go for it. So that's what I love to see. But yes, quell your hunger and quench your thirst with your favorite meals and more while you're watching LCS Summer Split. Use offer code LCS Summer for $10 off your delivery order for $15 and more for new diners. So, of course, terms apply, but have at it. Like APA had at the enemy team. So, that being said, we're going to be having.
I don't know if I'm that hungry.
I am. I'm actually hungry. 100 Thieves and TSM are right after this one. But immediately after this, we have Energy going up against their own coaches. And Are You Smarter Than?
See if you can match. Can you sync up? That's pretty good.
Who leads the league in wards placed? That's odd. Which org has won the most coaches/coaching staffs of the split? Okay. Give me the top 5 win rate champions in bronze on 13-13. Hello and welcome back to another Are You Smarter Than very special edition. Are you smarter than LCS coaches? The NRG players are going to go up against their own coaching staff. Easy. Easy? What's up? Good luck, guys. A philosophical question. Is it more embarrassing for players to know less than their coaches or for coaches to know less than their players?
Coaches for sure, eh?
Like their job is to teach.
No, it's the players because what we do is we culminate the idea of the group and bring it together and buy into the culture and what we...
So why do we have so many coaches then?
Because you guys need that much help.
All right, the way this show works, if you haven't seen it before, is it is a game show. One at a time, they will come up. I will ask a question. They will buzz in to try and get it right. If they get it wrong, the other team is able to consult all together. So definitely don't spam that button too quickly. There's going to be 3 categories with a final question at the end to make up all those lost points. Are you guys ready?
Ready to go.
Yeah. All right, first contestants up to the front.
Get up there, Jimmy. It's Palafox. You should verse.
Okay, I'll take him out.
Mid versus mid.
I'll take him out.
All right, so the first category is LCS coaching in general, actually. Which season were coaches allowed on stage for draft in the LCS? DeMonte.
He doesn't know.
Okay, season or like LCS, like. Okay.
Oh, nice try.
Season 3.
Wrong. All right, you can go consult with your whole team if you want, Palafox. They get a chance to answer.
I mean, none of them were like even born then, so there's no way.
You should know.
I do know.
Okay, you know.
Why didn't you get up there?
Do you have an answer?
Yeah.
Hit me.
Season 5.
Season 5 is correct.
Let's go. We're too good.
I didn't even play League back then. Like
You were here.
I was not.
Were you not?
I mean, I probably was.
All right, so next 2 candidates. Everyone has to go at least once per category. All right, the AD carry battle now. Okay. The position coaches. Which org has won the most coaches/coaching staffs of the split in the LCS? Apollo.
C9?
C9 is correct with 5.
My goat. My goat. My goat. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. You didn't want it as bad.
All right, last question. Let's get the last 2 up.
This is what you live for, Jubes.
Okay, you only need to give me 1 name for this one.
Okay.
There are 3 current players who were coaches of LCS orgs before. Give me 1. Oh, slightly faster.
It's come on, man.
5, 4,
Bro, I've
3,
blanked.
2, 1. He blinked.
Solo.
Solo is 1. Yeah. He coached for 17 days on FlyQuest. The other ones are Stixe and Armeo. That does it for this round of Are You Smarter Than LCS Coaches? Keep an eye out for more.